There has been some new information released regarding the lawsuit between Sage Steele and ESPN. We might get into it later this afternoon. There was some interesting information that was revealed about one of ESPN's top beta males, Ryan Clark. Now, I wouldn't call it surprising. I don't think anything revealed in this lawsuit is going to be all that surprising. I don't think anything is going to change at ESPN because of this lawsuit, which is why I told you guys yesterday I really don't understand the purpose behind it. We might dive deeper into that later this afternoon, but for now, I wanted to talk about Jake Paul, the biggest dreamer in America. There's nothing wrong with having dreams, especially at 25 years old. There's nothing wrong with fantasizing. It's good to have dreams, but dreams are completely useless without action. Me personally, I prefer to have goals instead of dreams. I prefer to live in reality. I don't like living in a fantasy. I don't live in a mythical world. I'm not a what ifer. I don't base decisions on what if. I remember when I quit my job last summer. My parents were extremely concerned about me. They thought I was out of my mind. My mom, she was full of what ifs. What if you fail? What if you get sick? What if you can't find health insurance? How can you quit a financially secure job to risk going out on your own? There is no such thing as a financially secure job. Your job could be gone tomorrow. It's a myth. Our parents' generation, they were conditioned to believe that you have to have a job. You got to work for someone else for financial security. You must give the best 40, 45 years of your life to some company who doesn't give a fuck about you in order to survive. Maybe one day you will be lucky enough to retire off the pennies that we pay you every week. That is a myth. Corporate America, they want you to believe that because corporate America can't survive without us. Us millennials, though, we have figured out that we don't need companies as much as companies need us. I was getting my coffee this morning. I go to the same place every morning and every afternoon for coffee. As I'm getting my coffee prepared, this older guy, he starts talking to me. Nice old dude. This happens to me all the time. I don't know what it is about my face or demeanor that invites complete strangers just to come up and start conversations with me, but it happens all the time. It's fine. But the older dude, older men in general, they have this tendency to tell us younger men what we should be doing. This dude was telling me I was getting the wrong coffee. I needed to be drinking the coffee that he drinks. This later turned into a conversation about work. He was a construction worker, had steel-toed boots on, one of those bright construction worker shirts on. Now, I explained to him what I did here on YouTube. I explained to him what I did with the sports book. He gives me this skeptical look. How can you make money doing that? So, I told him, and he proceeds to say, good luck with that, son. You need a job. You ain't doing things right. You ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. I said, sir, with all due respect, I'm wearing flip-flops and sweatpants, about to go home and drink this coffee and watch SVU that I recorded last night. You're getting ready to go sweat your ass off. He said, this country's so fucked up. Your generation's so fucked up. When the Russians and the Chinese attack us and the internets go out forever, you're going to wish you had a job. I said, sir, I don't live in fantasy. I live in reality. If that were to happen, you wouldn't have a job either. The guy was really nice, but I told him, I said, I don't live in a dream world. I don't base my life on what if. I don't hype myself up to be something that I'm not. I'm not a pretender. I am who I am. Take it or leave it. Jake Paul, on the other hand, Jake Paul is the ultimate pretender. He encapsulates one of the problems with the generation coming behind me. Dreamers, lovers of a utopian world, where if I say I'm a boxer, that means I'm a boxer. If I say I'm a woman, that makes me a woman. Forget about the Frankie in my panties. There is a fight this weekend at Madsion Square Garden, a fight very few people are likely to watch. Eddie Hearn, Jake Paul, they are the promoters of this fight. It's between two female boxers, each managed by Hearn and Paul. Now, do you care about the fighters' names? I didn't either. Doesn't fucking matter what their name is because no one's going to be watching the fight. Eddie Hearn, Jake Paul, They know this fight will draw Bomani Jones type ratings, so they are doing everything they can to promote it. And by promote it, I mean completely ignoring the two women that are actually boxing, the women that are actual boxers, and focusing on the mythical boxing career of Jake Paul. Now, I will give Eddie Hearn credit. Like the older man that was trying to guide me this morning, Eddie Hearn is trying to guide Jake Paul. He's trying to save him from himself. In Jake Paul's dream world, you put on a pair of boxing gloves, you are automatically a professional boxer. Eddie Hearn lives in reality. He tries to share some of his 42 years of life experience with the young 25-year-old Jake Paul. But you know how kids in their 20s are. You can't tell them shit. Listen to the wisdom of Eddie Hearn. And I want you to watch something closely. I want you to notice the demeanor of Jake Paul in this clip. It's important for what I'm going to share with you here in just a second. First, let me show you this. Roll the film.
Everyone's entitled to have a dream. No, seriously, I'm being serious. I think there's absolutely no way he can beat a world champion and become world champion. But I will say he's improving a lot. He's dedicated to the sport. I don't know how good he is because he hasn't really faced a real fighter yet. It's not his fault. He signed to fight Tommy Fury.
Well, a five-time world champion and Tyron Woodley's a real fighter.
He's not a real boxer. He's not, Jake.
Well,
Jake,
the first skill at MMA is boxing.
He
won the UFC championship with a right hand.
He's a great UFC fighter.
Do you consider Tommy Fury a real boxer?
Yes, but I'm not in terms of ability. But listen.
So what defines a real boxer?
A real boxer is someone that is his craft.
Like Andy Bishop, who have
Who's
10.
Andy Bishop?
Exactly, but he's a real boxer, right?
But
because anyone can go and get a professional.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, Usman does not qualify to give you any right to talk about you fighting for a world title, and nor does Tommy Fury actually. But I give you the props, I give you the respect. You're improving all the time, but the proof will be in the pudding. I don't believe. By the way, I've said that I think Jake Paul is better than some fighters, but I don't believe you will ever get close to being a world-class fighter.
Everything Eddie Hearn said, 100% accurate. He's on point. That clip right there, that is what happens when someone living in a fantasy gets punched in the face with reality. Jake Paul was essentially speechless, which is rare since he's a professional shit talker. He tried to come back with, I beat a 5-time world champion. Tyron Woodley is a world-class boxer. Nah, dude. Tyron Woodley is a world-class MMA fighter. Huge difference. Huge difference. Like Eddie Hearn said, Jake Paul has yet to face a real boxer, which is fine. I mean, that's not a big deal. He's just starting out in his boxing career. But here's the problem. Jake Paul runs around pretending to be a world champion boxer, a world-class boxer. He runs around pretending he could take down the entire UFC with one hand tied behind his back and the other hand eating a shit sandwich. I want you to contrast the demeanor of Jake Paul in that clip where he's being hit with resistance. Contrast that with his demeanor in this clip.
What do you think of when he said that you should stop calling out Bisping? He thinks that it's a silly call-out.
I don't even see that, but I also think it's a silly call-out.
Right.
Like, that's an easy fight for me. That's a one-round fight. He's an old guy, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about me. Here's the thing about me. Is if someone talks, I have to him up. You see, I have a problem in my head. If someone talks, let's settle it in the ring. Let's see if you're really about that or if you're just talking on Twitter. You feel me? So these guys who think they're so tough, these UFC champions who think they're so tough, I'll beat out of all of them. And I got time. I got time to do it. I'm young, so any of them can get it. As fast as we get these deals done, I'm knocking them all out. So Bisping wants to talk cool, let's get in the ring. If anyone wants to talk get in the Masvidal, you all these guys are all talk, they're capped, and their dad Dana owns them. They're a bunch of that hide behind the contract.
How do you feel about
I'm mad.
I apologize for the constant beeping. I can't stand that shit. I mean, we're all adults. We can handle a few curse words. Hell, if you listen to this channel, you can handle relentless cursing. Just ask my mother. My mom. The other day, we're all at lunch, the whole family, probably 8, 10 of us. My mom gets to, I don't want to call it complaining, but for lack of a better word, my mom gets to complaining about my channel. It's so vile. I can't tell any of my friends to watch because he curses so much. I want to promote him in my Facebook groups full of old women, but I'm too embarrassed. Sorry, Mom. I'll try to clean up the cursing for you. But anyway, did you notice the difference between Jake Paul and those two clips? The clip with Eddie Hearn, he's hit with reality. Then in the media scrum, where you have a bunch of reporters looking for sound bites, it is full-blown fantasy. I'm King Kong, motherfucker. I'll beat Michael Bisping. I'll beat the shit out of Colby Covington. UFC is nothing but Dana White bitches. No one can beat me when I'm on my steroids. Jake Paul said he had a problem in his head. I happen to agree. He's living in a mythical world. You're taking YouTubers, MMA fighters, putting them in a boxing ring and beating them. That doesn't make you a boxer. It makes you a pretender. The last few months, Jake Paul has been reaching. He is starting to get desperate. He's been essentially begging for Dana White to let him into the UFC. He was talking all that shit in that clip I just played you, which to me, it looked like a cry for attention. After Eddie Hearn hit him with reality, Jake Paul backed off some of his badass claims. He said, I will fight any of your fighters, Eddie Hearn, who have under 10 fights. Mind you, this is the same dude that was calling out Canelo Alvarez. This is the same dude claiming he can beat anyone on the UFC roster. Suddenly, it's give me your inexperienced fighters. Let me kick their ass. Maybe Eddie Hearn's reality check, maybe it resonated with Jake Paul. Maybe the message was received. It's so good for him. Good for him. But like I said, the last few months, Jake Paul has been in desperation mode. Why? Why is that? This is just speculation on my part, but I think he might be realizing the novelty is wearing off. Have you ever watched a Jake Paul fight? I've seen all 5 of them. I didn't buy them, of course. I don't waste my money on bullshit. All 5 fights have been boring. Really boring. It's amateur boxing. Now, that's not a knock on Jake Paul because he's an amateur boxer. Now, I'm not counting the 2 fights where he was co-main event. Those buy rates belong to his brother. Jake Paul, he's had 3 main event fights. First fight, 1.5 million buys, the curiosity effect. Second fight, 500,000. Third fight, 65,000. Are you noticing a trend here? 65 fucking thousand. That is Bomani Jones numbers. Jake Paul's third fight grossed less than $4 million. If I had to guess, after paying the fighters, whoever promoted or put together that event lost money. When people in entertainment who have been successful see the novelty begin to wear off, when they sense that the public is losing interest in them, they start reaching, they start crying out for attention. That's what Jake Paul's been doing this year, begging to fight any big name that will give him the attention, calling out Mike Tyson, Conor McGregor, Jorge Masvidal. Please kick my ass. Please kick my ass. We'll see if any of them bite. It's being rumored Jake Paul's next fight will be August 13th. No opponent has been revealed yet. If I had to guess, though, it's going to be another easy fight for him to win and another colossal failure on pay-per-view. But let me know what you think about Jake Paul. Do you find the kid entertaining? Would you pay to watch him fight? I wouldn't. I only pay to watch real fighters fight. I don't pay to watch amateur boxing, but let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.